Hey fam, Dead Mother Amanda coming back to you live. Welcoming all the Den family. Hopefully people are gonna watch this. Going over multiple reasons why Kamala Harris has lost the election. I know there's people that are upset. Okay, and I can understand and I can sympathize with that. No, I really do. I really do. So we want to see Biden and Harris get into office to begin with. Although I didn't have a extreme emotional breakdown, I was crying and just outright. I mean, emotionally crying over it. Um, though I didn't agree with it, and we all found out why. They got handed even after the pandemic. They got handed a pretty decent economy where people were working, making money, and making a living, and inflation was down under 2%, which means it wasn't growing. Um, Prices people could afford things. They could afford food on the table for themselves and their families. They could afford the home they were living in. And could afford gas in the car or truck or whatever the people were driving. And things exponentially went up by 50 or more percent. Some cases over 100% went up. An increase in prices. Um, and to be honest with you, a lot of people were upset because Kamala Harris and a bunch of other people went behind Biden's back and blackballed him out of there. Not run, which we all knew he shouldn't have ran to begin with. His mental cognition was at a very bad decrease before he got into office, and progressively got worse. Okay, what I don't agree with is not having a Democratic National Convention for the people to decide who they wanted to have run for the Democrat, be the Democrat nominee for president. Excuse me. And Miss Kamala Harris wouldn't have made it. She would not have made it. It was originally picked because of the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Um, so she only got one vote, and she only made it to the first Democratic debate, and then dropped out. She's the least popular candidate, and after this last 4 years, nearly 4 years of being in office as VP, she's the least favorite VP of all time. Okay, I remember the Jimmy Carter era. Okay, the economy wasn't great, but he was a decent human being. He actually tried to do some decent stuff for people, and he did do one really decent thing for people. Is he started a Habitat for Humanities. Biden and Harris can't say that they've done anything like that. Okay, they can't say anything like they've done anything like that. Okay, the economy got worse. The economy compared during Biden Harris compared to when Jimmy Carter was a president was worse now than it was back then. From 1879 to 1980. Okay, the racial divide got worse. And I mean by racial divide, I mean oh god, identity politics, where whatever category you're in, a person is in, you go from top to bottom. Okay, trans people and LGBT community were put towards the bottom. They wanted you to make us feel like we were being hunted down, so to speak. Okay, and I'll explain about that in a little shortly, especially when it comes to the transsexual, transgender community. White men were treated like garbage, absolute garbage. Freaking pathetic. The Democrats all wanted to call everybody Adolf Hitler and a Nazi. You're sick. I don't agree with a lot of the most all of the Democrat stuff that's going on. That's something I will not do. And you haven't heard it from the right, them doing that to people on the left. Calling Biden or Harris or Democrats Hitler, Nazis, fascists. And then y'all wonder why and all the people want to talk about he needs a target on his head. And I wonder why he got assassinated. Because you lie about the man, why they tried to assassinate him. She lied about the man. Left, right, up, down, inside, and out. I want to complain about a joke that was supposed to be in private about putting his hand on a woman's private part. So that's exactly what it was, his joke. Take it out of misreferenced it, made it into something it wasn't. The economy was a whole heck of a lot better under Biden Pence. People weren't worried very much about having a place to live and being able to afford to feed their families and themselves. You could afford to put gas in the tank to get back and forth to work or take public transportation. Kamla Harris is supposed to be the border czar. Went down to the border once. I think that was 4 months ago, maybe 6. Over 11 million illegal aliens crossed the border, bringing illicit fentanyl that has killed thousands of people in the last almost 4 years. Because they took down, and said, okay, yeah, we're eliminating a Mexico hold. Putting in effect catch and release. People want to say that Republican states moved immigrants to other places. Yeah, they moved them to blue states because of the crime, the gangs, the human trafficking of women and children. Not to mention the sexual assault that they had to bear, that they had to take it, they had to endure during and after the release into the United States. It's pretty sad when you see armed National Guard walking in the streets because of the criminal element, and then taxpayers having to pay them for free room and board, plus getting nearly for around $1,400 a month. That's coming out of your pocket. If you pay taxes, yeah, you're paying for it. It's got to come from somewhere. Money does not grow on trees. Tell you where it come from. A whole big majority of it came from FEMA. They wonder why they couldn't help Florida and other states after the second hurricane hit. The director of FEMA said they were out of money. Pretty responsible, huh? You can't take care of our own citizens after a hurricane because you steal the money from FEMA. They stole the money from FEMA. The people paid taxes into to go to FEMA and other places. Or the place I can't remember right offhand. But stole taxpayer money from that organization to pay for these illegal aliens. It's not illegal immigration because immigration implies the legal aspect of it. Okay, people are going to want to complain about, well, what about trying to escape for like asylum? Okay, go through the border crossings. If you're seeking asylum, go through the border crossing, the legal border crossing where Border Patrol's at. Don't cross the border where they're not at. If you have an asylum, I want to have an asylum claim, that's where you go to. Like, hey, I want to claim asylum. Then you get that help. We had people over staying over in Mexico until that could happen. Then they removed that stay in Mexico and enacted catch and release. Why did Republicans send them over there? Because they don't want illegal immigration in their states. I don't blame them. I don't want them here either. I live in New York. There's a legal way to do it. And I totally agree with that. Get a flipping green card. Get a work visa. Come in the right way, the legal way, and you're welcome here. For those who want to come into the country, don't cross the border where there's nobody there. Where you it's just insane. Why? The economy, illegal migration, illegal aliens. Those are the two biggest reasons why. And people are getting sick and damn tired of kids saying that they're trans. Then they get, yep, you're trans by psychological the psychiatric community. Yep, here's your script for freaking whatever, puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones. Here, go have surgery. People are getting sick and tired of children getting butchered and mutilated like that. And I am so grateful Donald Trump is going to put an executive order in to stop it. And I hope that a particular law comes in effect that makes it a federal felony to medically transition children. Do they have children? Can children have dysphoria? Yeah, absolutely. They can have dysphoria. Let a child go through puberty, more than 90% of it works its way out, works its way out. Either straight or part of, or they end up being part of the LGBT plus. Okay, you put on puberty blockers. Sorry, it's not a pause. Really look into the effects of Lupron. There's more negative than there are positives. Okay, yeah, it treats some certain cancers, and they're actually considering for the last however many years to remove it from being used for prepubescent puberty. Lupron and the like are also used for convicted sex offenders to destroy their sex drive and destroy the hormone creation. They know this. They've known this for more than 50 years. Probably more like 100 years. They know this. But because they want to push children through medical treatment, follow the money. Everybody that's transitioning, you've been on that stuff for 6 months or more, probably more or a year or more. You're going to be on medication for the rest of your life. Pharmaceutical companies know this. They start them out as a child. They're going to be on medication for the rest of their life. How many millions of dollars per person is that? Probably almost $1 billion. If they're starting out at like 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, they're going to be on it for the rest of their lives. Of course, they're going to say, yeah, it's reversible. It doesn't do any harm. Yeah, it does do harm. It also changes the brain chemistry. Okay? It's also been known to make the brain swell and cause temporary to permanent blindness. Not in every case, but a bunch of cases. Take a look at why Tavistock Children's section for transgender children has been shut down. Why every other trans child facility in Europe has been shut down. Really take an honest look at it. And look, 19 out of 20 studies have proven that puberty blockers do not help children. Most cases, it makes it worse. It's over 95% of the time makes it worse. Plus, it makes depression worse, anxiety worse. Girls getting double mastectomies anywhere from 12 to 15 years old. getting a hysterectomy for female to male, male to female, getting vaginoplasties. One people know very well. Okay, Jazz Jennings had it at 17. Has been even younger. And some in Texas that have been even younger. Male to female has gone up over 1,000%. Female to male has gone up 4,440%. What is going on? Okay. The course of detransitioning has come up by comparable numbers. Because when you got that kind of increase in the trans children, you're gonna have to have a substantial increase in detransition. And guess what happens when they detransition? One, they have no ability to have children. Zero ability to have children. Two, no orgasm with intimacy. Zero pleasure with intimacy. Some have said that it hurts and causes pain with intimacy. With that kind of intimacy, it causes pain. Because a child has not been able to go through their puberty. It's difficult. It's physically difficult for an adult to go through. Trust me, I know I'm going through it. It's difficult, physically difficult. It's not fun. Those of us who are really transsexual slash I'll say slash transgender because some medically transition they say they're transgender that actually have gender dysphoria. We had to choose to do this. We did it as adults. People are getting sick and tired of children getting butchered. Can't wait till he gets in opera. Trump gets back into office to put a stop to that. I hope it becomes a crime to medically transition a child. And don't think people won't find out because people will. People will know. People will find out. No matter how secretive you try to be. It's going to be, it will be obvious. There's no way around it not being obvious. Developmental phases will be missed. Won't happen because of puberty blockers. Stops puberty. Stops it. It's not a pause. It's a stop. Because when you go off them, you can't get it back. It won't come back. It will not come back. Will not come back to the effect that you will have what you had or would have had you had the child not gone through puberty blockers. Won't have it. Just won't happen. Okay. Now, Kamala Harris offered nothing as to what she was going to do for the country, except for try to reverse the federal block on abortion. Because that abortion, when Supreme Court revoked it as a federal law, it went to the states. It was not a ban. Was not and is not a ban. Trump can't do that. He doesn't have the authority to do it. Never did. And he still won't have the ability to do that when he gets in office. What has happened with that decision through Supreme Court is it went to the states to decide what they wanted to do with it. In most states that have put a stop to abortions, except in the case of rape, incest, and extreme health and health, serious health risk to mother and or child. I can agree with those. I can agree with those. People are pissed because there's a lot of women that have been using it for birth control. You know, when you get if the mother doesn't want to be a mother and the father doesn't want to be a father, don't have sex. No matter what you do. Because you can still get, the female can still get pregnant, even using contraceptives. Can still get pregnant. Can still get pregnant after both of them get fixed. I've heard of it happen more than once. I know it's a difficult choice to decide to not have sex, but you know what? We all know what the consequences of having sex are. Consequences you could have, a pregnancy could happen. We all know this. You all know this. That unborn child has rights too. Whether people want to believe it or not, that's a person growing in there with its own distinct and unique DNA. It's not just a mother's body. Because if it was part of if it was the mother's body, each female would already be born pregnant. It takes an egg and it takes sperm. Last I knew, women only had one half of that. Had an egg. Okay. Men who are having sex and get these girls pregnant, stand up. Be a man. Be responsible. Be willing to take care of it. Quit being an ass tard. Do the right damn thing. Don't run. Stand up, be a man, and take care of the child. For those of you who do, you know I'm not talking about you. We owe the unborn a little bit of respect. My biological woman, no. I'll never be able to have children. Never could, never will. It's still a subject all of us have a right to talk about. Should be able to meet somewhere in the middle of compassion and listen to both sides. Because yes, even though there's differences between somebody who's alive and a pregnancy and a fetus, an unborn child. Okay, there is not an argument that I can't counteract with the living and viability. Okay, we're gonna keep the medical devices and pregnancy. We'll leave that set aside. When it comes to viability, yes, it's both different. But if somebody's in a coma, can you stab them and kill them? If you said no, thank you. I'm glad you said that. Just because that unborn baby isn't viable. And it still won't be viable after the baby is born. Because you have to feed it, you have to take care of it, clothe it, change its diapers. So it's still not viable after birth. It's just born. I just eliminated viability thing, didn't I? Yeah, I did. I'll tell you one thing right now, you put a baby down and you leave that baby down, you do not take care of it for days on end, you don't feed it, you don't change it, you don't do anything with that baby, guess what's going to happen? Baby's going to starve to death and die. Or if it's left out in the elements will do the baby in. I'm talking weather elements. It'll be heat, rain, cold. We'll do it in. And guess what? Viability after birth. Guess what? Hey Angelina, how are you, sweetie? Glad to see you here, honey. I'll probably gonna get on again tomorrow afternoon too, sometime probably around 3 o'clock. Also, I'm gonna have a guest on with me. A friend of mine, Pete's gonna be coming on with me tomorrow too, and we're gonna do a thing. Yeah, I did. I wasn't sure whether I was gonna come on or not. It was kind of last minute. So yeah. So yeah, go back and watch it from the beginning, and but yeah, and I hope you're doing okay, honey. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why Kamala didn't win, and I understand. It's like people get upset over it. And you know what? Yeah, and I can understand that too. Yeah, no, I can sympathize where people are coming from. I really can. And okay, I hope you're having more ups than you are downs. Okay, we can do that. We can talk later. Yeah, sure. No, but this is a conversation I also is having on this topic anyway. Some of the reasons why Trump won and Kamala Harris lost. And there were some things on both sides that were pretty good. And like I was saying earlier, I think there's more um, things that we knew Trump would had fixed from before, like the economy. Um, I'm sorry, honey. Yeah, we can definitely talk later. Absolutely, we can talk later, honey. I'm probably gonna end this. Been on for a little while already, about 35 minutes now, so I'm probably going to end this soon. Um, the two biggest things were, like I said, the economy and illegal aliens coming across. Like I said before, I don't like using illegal immigration as in the same phrase, because immigration applies legal um, entry to the United States, and that hasn't happened. With over 11 million people, and a crime that was brought over with it, from people dying from overdoses of fentanyl exponentially has increased. Um, and like I said before, the women and child trafficking. Um, I don't know. People were getting fed up now. They have wondering how they were going to eat and be able to afford to eat and feed their family, and be able to stay in their homes with the inflation gone, the prices have gone up so much. Um, well, people start having extreme difficulties taking care of their family. I don't know. People start taking a look at something's got to change. I don't know. And the medical transition of children and the harm that it's caused to children. I know, from the long term use of puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones for children. That didn't help. And trying to say, is the abortion issue important? Yeah, absolutely. It is important. And that went to the states. It wasn't banned. There's not a ban on that. Um, and it was done by the Supreme Court. Okay. Said it's no longer going to be a federal law. It's going to, and when that happened, it went back to all of the 50 states and the U.S. possessions to decide what they wanted to do with it, how they wanted to deal with it. And the states were the only form of abortions, and some of the states that are Republican, primarily Republican, have gone to where, okay, rape, incest, and extreme health circumstances, and yes, you can have them. And if it doesn't fall within those three, then no. Because that unborn baby is still a human life with its own unique DNA. Right? Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad they kept those in there. I was kind of on the fence about the R and I one and that, and the abortion thing. The reason I was on the fence is because, I know what the mother goes through. I don't know directly, what I've seen, what it has done to these females that have had it happen to. And it's, oh God, so hard. I just want to cry when it happens. I have a hard time not crying now talking about it, because it's just so heart wrenching for the girls and women that have had that happen to. It is. It really is, because it takes a toll on them, physical as well as emotional toll. Um, um, yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So things can things can be talked about on that. It just, things can be worked out. See what else happens. What I don't agree with and is that has happened is probably, and I've seen studies where over 90% is of the abortion thing is whether it's true, really truthful. I seen it on more like about four different studies that it's like over 90% where most it is for like birth control and or other similar reasons or no reason given at all. Um, and the no reason at all, it could be the other two. It could be the other we were talking about before, the R and I and extreme health condition. When they don't want to say why, one of those three could be the reason why. Don't know. They haven't said. Now, whether it is actually over 90% for birth control, maybe not. But I think that's more than 50% of what's being done. How it's being done, abortion is being done is for birth control. Okay, and that part of it I don't agree with. Like I said, abstinence, because when we go into people go into having sex, we every single one of us knows what happens, what can happen, even using protection. It's been known to happen. So anyway, yeah, I think there's room to work with that issue. The biggest things were okay. I need to be able to take care of self and family financially, and sometimes it came down to a choice of whether to eat or have a place to stay, a place to live. Um, People got sick of it. Well, you can't hardly barely afford to get back and forth to work because gasoline and fuel prices have gone up so much, gone up over 100%. Yeah, they come down a little bit. Doesn't help. Bread prices at the Family Dollar has gone from like $1 to $1 and small change to almost $2 a loaf at the Family Dollar for a loaf of bread that is needed to okay. Smaller than what you get at Walmart or Weiss or a regular grocery store. Eggs for 5 dozen at one time were almost $20 for 5 dozen eggs. I'm like, holy crap! Yeah, Walmart at Walmart. If not overtime, I think they were nearly $25 at one time for a little while. Milk at one time was right around $5 a gallon or a little more. Uh, I think there's a woman in the woman that can get into to be president. Unfortunately, just wasn't the last two that ran for president. Um, so I think there were reasons for that. Yeah, yeah, everything has gone up. It for sure has. Absolutely everything has gone up. And inflation has gone up. Interest payments on loans have gone up. And rent and mortgages have gone up. Housing prices have gone up. Um, it was manageable. Yeah, yeah. I even lived in a shelter for a while because the prices were so high. People are struggling. You know, they want to send money over. Democrats want to send money overseas when we got homeless vets. When we have homeless vets on the street. That's sickening. That is just outright sickening. Yeah, it yeah, it is absolutely insane. And there's dislike for both people who were running for president this last time. And it really was. And I get it. I think a lot of it's people didn't like the way Trump was talking about certain things, and I understand that too. And the make America, yeah, make America better. The Biden Harris campaign. What got better? I had hoped that it was gonna be okay. I really did when they got elected in office. Okay, we'll see what happens. Because in the past, I voted Democrat for a few times. In the past, I have, because what they were talking about made sense, made more sense than what the others were talking about at the time. And I voted the way I believed in my heart was the right way to vote. Um, so the last two times I couldn't vote for him because I know what Biden's past was like. He started out in a Klan to get the Klan to be put on a Democrat ticket for anything. He fought to keep Jim Crow laws alive. He was one of the biggest reasons why segregation was enacted. He was one of the leaders that filibustered the equal rights in the 60s. Equal rights for black people. I couldn't vote for somebody like that. Plus, it's like they wanted to try Trump in court. Okay, for some of the things he did wrong, some of the things that maybe he did do wrong. Statute of limitations that were up on him, so they found something different to put on him. Okay, Biden could have been convicted for treason, legitimately could have been convicted for treason, right along with the Obamas and the Clintons when they sold uranium, weapons grade uranium to Russia through Canada. That's treason. U.S. weapons grade uranium. Nothing ever happened. Um, People want to convict people. Yeah, do it for everybody that deserves it, not just one person because people don't like them. It's like I was saying before, it's like people calling Trump Hitler, a Nazi. No, don't do that. There's Republicans I didn't like, and there's Democrats that I didn't like. And I know Angela, you're a Democrat. I like it. You're a friend. You're a really good friend. I love you. I know a bunch of other Democrat friends that are really good people. I know. Yeah, it is. It is. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll be decent. Maybe he won't. We'll have to see. Um, God, yeah, I get it. There's going to be disappointment, and yeah, that's it's going to happen. No matter who gets elected into office, it's there's going to be disappointment and a certain amount of heartache, um, and it's valid. People get concerned for whatever reason, and that's not up to me to decide. Um, so there's some things I think they might have tried to do something that was good for America. It just didn't work. It didn't work. And when she was trying to, people were asking, "Well, what are your policies going to be?" She talked about other things. Um, oh shit! Yeah, that's pretty good. Politics should never get involved in politics. Yeah. But yeah, it's just there's extremes on both sides. Okay, there's extremes on both sides. I remember a time when no matter what side somebody was on, I was got together and sit down and have a rational conversations. It wasn't this what seems to be lately over the last probably decade. It's my way or no way, on both sides, and on that part of it has to stop. On both sides, it has to stop. We need to be able to sit down, talk things out, come to a consensus the best we can on what we can, and leave the rest for a later time. So it's just yeah, that's what I want to see here. It's like I don't mind people having a different opinion than what I do. I don't. I have a lot of friends that have different opinions than I do. I mean, a lot. Um, and I care about them. I really do. Because there's things that we agree on too. Um, People that I'm close to, we don't always have to agree on everything, and that's okay too. Just learn to when it's time to let things go in a conversation. Okay, let it drop, and maybe talk about it some other time, and maybe not. Who knows? And that's okay too. Um, all I know is I care about people. I care about people, whether they're born or not yet born. I really do. You got that right. Politics also should not get in the way of involved in friendships or in the way of friendships. Yeah, exactly, exactly. You said that one right, honey. You got that right. You got that right. Because even when politics isn't when there isn't differing politics, it's like people are different. People are different. Different thoughts, different ideas. Same side or opposite side. Yes, you do. And I think a lot of these politicians need to learn that lesson. like they used to know about it, like they used to know. And because they work for us. Politicians work for us. We're their employer. They work for the people, not the other way around. It's we the people, by the people, for the people. That's how government works. It's supposed to work in this country. And somewhere along the lines, a lot of people forgot that's what it's supposed to be about. So, anyway, I got off on a little tangent on some extra stuff too, I guess, which, you know what, it's okay. And, God, 56 minutes already. God. Yeah, long one. All right. Angelina, thanks for stopping in. Love you, honey. Um, we're gonna jump off, and if you want, we can talk after we jump off here. Call you. All right. Just let everybody know. Just remember, no matter who you are, you have value, you have worth, and you're important. And if no one told you they love you today, I love you. Thanks for tuning in, and have a great rest of your day, no matter what part of the day you're in. And I'll talk to you in a few minutes, Angelina. Love you. Bye bye for now.